Julien, good evening. How is Paris this beautiful evening? And is it a beautiful evening?
I have no idea. To avoid the backlight, I actually closed the shutters. So I'm guessing it probably is or isn't. Either way, I'm actually super happy to see you again and super happy to be able to share some, hopefully not too painful memories, but at least, analyze some of your recent stories. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I had a mixed experience. So I thought I'd go through it. It had some positive things. It had some negative. This falls under healthcare. And this happened back in January. So, I don't know, less than a week before the end of January, I got a text from, this is part of what was weird about it, was there is an organization called Carbon Health. I'm going to name names because it's healthcare and I can't go anywhere else anyway. Organization called Carbon Health. And somehow they're kind of sort of related to Stanford Healthcare. Maybe they're owned by them, maybe they're not. So I got this thing that was jointly from Stanford Healthcare and Carbon Health. You really couldn't understand who owned it or what it was. I got a text saying, you owe $70 from a procedure that was done on April 8th of last year. And you must pay us the $70 within a week. So it was a COVID test, and they.
So you knew what it was, because it really much sounds like scam at this point. But
there was a little bit of a feeling of scam to it, and so I got this thing, and it said, you owe $70 for something that's supposed to be free, and if not, it's certainly supposed to be paid by insurance. So I'm just like, what the heck is this? And, so on one level, it was really good because it was, a wonderful omni-channel experience. I got a text had a link straight to the bill so I could look at the document. I knew exactly what was going on. It was formatted really well for my phone. So from an execution standpoint, omni-channel-y, it was beautiful. But what was being communicated was nothing short of absurd. I went and I stomped around the house a little bit. Right, I'm not going to deal with it right now. So a couple hours later, I got an email, all the same information. And so now I'm like, okay, something is real here. I got to deal with this. And, again, they're like, we're going to charge you. I forget what the penalty was going to be, but it's like, you owe this by the end of the month. And it was very late in the month. So for some reason, that pissed me off more than any of the rest of it. But so there was a phone number. So at this point, I'm calling because I want to talk to somebody. I don't want to do that digitally. So I call, and your point of, wow, your scam flags go up. My scam flags didn't go up enough until I called. I suddenly realized, okay, I'm calling a number. I don't know who this is. Another good thing, I wasn't on hold very long, so I barely had enough time. I did search a little bit. I searched the company name and the phone number, and it showed up a couple of places. I'm like, okay, this is... And then I realized no scammer would cross-brand what they were trying to do. They would want to look straightforward. So just the fact that it was so screwed up meant it wasn't a scam. So I got a person on the phone. She was very bright, very cheerful. I explained my situation, and she, and when I really got nervous was she started asking me for, a couple of clarifying things. But at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go. And then she came back with a ton of information. So there's no way either this is the most sophisticated scam in the history of the world, or this wasn't a scam. So went through, she looked at it, and she goes, oh, well, this makes no sense. Why didn't the insurance company pay this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry, that was rhetorical. I wasn't asking you that. Yeah, this shouldn't be paid. Do not worry about it. I will fix it. I will make it go away. Okay, thanks. Done. So that's the whole story. It was very quick, very efficient. omni-channel and stupid.
So, a few things here. First, it does seem that you're having regular issues with doctors, health insurances.
Yeah, welcome to America.
All right, so you're saying it's not just you.
No.
Just before jumping on the call with you, I was listening to some old story. We had a recording, I think that was the first week of February or last week of January, whatever, which was around getting closure on 2021 stories. And at that point, you shared, well, that beautiful story on the IRS, which still didn't close back then. I'm guessing it's still ongoing, but let's keep it for another episode. But you also had a story around getting to collection because your doctor's bill went to the wrong insurance and it went back, and then suddenly it was an emergency and you had to pay for it. And and you had another story which was probably a year earlier than that, which was you worked with a doctor, but you got a bill. It was not from the doctor, it was not from the hospital, but it was from a third party, and there was this complete layers of complexity. And today's story is not that different. It's, again, who am I paying? Why am I paying? Why is my insurance not covering that? Why am I being asked to pay it? Which is the first point. But the second point is, and I'm guessing that's why you're so frustrated. Why is that an emergency? If it was from April last year, why am I hearing about it today? What did you say? That was in January, so that was 9 months after the fact.
9 months later, exactly.
Why am I hearing about it 9 months later? And with such a deadline.
By the way, you better pay us in a week.
Exactly. I mean, you've been waiting for 9 months, and now it's absolutely urgent. What has happened in the past 9 months? Why did I not receive any information? Because apparently they know your contact info, right? They sent, what did you say? Was it an SMS and an email, if I recall?
SMS and an email.
So apparently they got your contact information. They know your name, and they know how much you owe them, whether it's true or not. And why is it suddenly an emergency? I understand why you're frustrated, because that is just not the way you want to engage with a customer. That being said, are you really what would qualify as a customer? Meaning you probably went to them once because you had that specific need. You're not a loyal or recurring customer of any sort. So does loyalty even play a...
That's not totally true. There is kind of competition for what's called urgent care. And these guys are subtly different because they do a lot of testing things and stuff like that. But they're in a competitive market. There are alternate sources for that. So ironically, it's a more competitive piece because it's not like a regular doctor. It's where, I could go there here for my flu shot, and I could go there for this sort of test and thing. So it is competitive.
In any case, for loyalty or not for loyalty reasons, treating people the right way is kind of the basic ethical thing you should do, not even for them to come back. So, all right, I understand the frustration. You kind of highlighted the fact that they sent you the proper formatting and everything. It was easy to read. You kind of mentioned the fact that the person on the phone was nice, which I always need to highlight because that's always a big thing for me, making sure people on the phone are nice. You also mentioned that it was very quick to reach out to someone, which is another thing. I just earlier today, I spent 25 minutes on the phone being transferred twice to people telling me, oh, that's not the right person, let me transfer you. And same thing happening twice. So when it goes right, it's fantastic. So a lot of good things. And she had apparently lots of information. The only information that was missing was, why on earth did you receive this in the first place? But I guess she could have known.
You're bringing up an interesting point. Why didn't I ask? She said very clearly, this is a mistake. Why didn't I just, how the hell did this happen? I'm sure she would have said, I don't know. So that's why I didn't bother. But yeah, I have the right to ask that at that point. I probably should have.
And the only thing, when you finished telling your story, my first thinking was, did that actually end there? Because I would have asked her, can you send me something in writing, whether SMS or email, confirming you're going to take care of this and I don't need to worry? Because the only thing is, you give me a 1 week deadline. you're telling me don't you worry about it. What happens if something happens to you, or you suddenly forget about it, you have an urgent task, whatever it is, you forget to deal with this, and in a week I'm going to collection and I'm going to get additional penalties and everything. I would have loved for her to send something in writing, not just make beautiful promises, which hopefully went through anyway. But still, I would not be too comfortable with just a verbal confirmation.
Now you're making me nervous.
Well, it was a long time ago, so you would have been you would have
that's
been
true.
made
If I
aware of
haven't
it.
heard anything by now, well, except from service to bill, it was 9 months. So
Exactly.
at that pace, maybe.
So you should keep an eye on it for the next 6 or 7 years, then consider it done.
Right. Okay, that's a good idea. I'll do that.
But ultimately, I think if there is some learning to get from your story, is automation is fantastic, but you probably need to have some QAs in place and regularly make sure that what you're sending automatically actually makes sense. You probably need to have a feedback loop of some sort, making sure that when the hotline receives this kind of feedback, they do something about it. And it's highly possible that you are a customer out of a million who has this kind of issue, and just being a bad luck magnet of some sort, that's ending up with you. But you could be the only one, and maybe they're going to give that feedback and they're going to fix it, and no one else is going to have to suffer from it. Or it could be that you're not so unlucky and it's happening to lots of people, and they really need to put a feedback loop in place to fix this kind of things.
I would give very similar feedback on this, subtly different. I think they have the technology in place, and I think they're deploying the technology cleverly and well, but their processes are messed up. I mean, there's no excuse for a 9-month delay before you get a bill. And there's no excuse for after 9 months, I want this in a week. And there's no excuse for this is something where when you call the contact center, the agent instantly goes, well, this is wrong. I mean, none of that adds up, just none of it. So, I think this is a case, to my mind, and maybe you'll sum it up differently, but to my mind, this is a case of great technology, well executed to deploy a broken process.
Automation going wrong.
Yeah.
I think we've got the title for that episode, which is perfect.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Do you feel any better?
I do feel better. I didn't feel horrible before, but there's a lot of frustration, and it was something to work through. So I appreciate the opportunity to do that.
Fantastic. Well, please keep us updated. In 2-3 weeks or month, we want to hear about the RRS again. But until then, I wish you have a beautiful day, beautiful week, and I will talk to you again next week. Thank you so much, Max.
Alrighty, sounds great. Thanks, Julien. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.